Warning, there will be spoilers for The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 6, titled Tribe. If you haven't watched it, proceed with caution. The Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 6, titled Tribe, is out as of 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I got up that early to watch it. Well, I do that with every Star Wars release. This episode begins with the clones of the Bad Batch selling counterfeit chain codes to, droids, known only as the Vanguard Axis, not to be confused with the character Axis from the Old Republic universe. But while Omega waits with Echo at the ship, she discovers a young Wookiee being mistreated by the droids that Clone Force 99 is there to do business with. A skirmish breaks out between Omega, the Wookiee, and the droids. The rest of the clones come rushing in to help, and the young Wookiee is spirited away in the team's shuttle, the Marauder. When questioned about the Marauder, the young Wookiee reveals himself as Gungi, a Jedi. Not just any Wookiee Jedi, but the same Gungi who we saw in the Clone Wars Season 5, Episode 6. It's good to see Gungi survived Order 66. The rest of the episode involves the Bad Batch going to Kashyyyk to return Gungi to his homeworld, where they find that the Empire, with the help of Trandoshan bounty hunters and collectors, are in the process of deforesting the planet and killing/capturing its Wookiee inhabitants. They find a Wookiee village and vow to help them fight off the coming attackers. Successful, Hunter and company leave the young Wookiee Jedi with the villagers so he can live the rest of his life in peace with his own people. Okay, that's the story in a nutshell. I remain conflicted on this season so far. I'll get more into that in just a bit, and probably more than you'll want to hear. But before I go on, a word from our sponsor, me. Hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up. Also consider joining the channel as a member, where you get exclusive perks including rants and a fan fiction series about different points of view of Order 66 that I'm working on. With that said, let's get back to today's topic. With this one, I'll go right into my review. I generally don't like comparing Star Wars projects to one another, but with that being said, I'm pretty sure it's okay to compare this one to the likes of the Clone Wars and maybe even Star Wars Rebels to a degree. They are all animations from the creative mind of Dave Filoni and touch on the same subject matters. Even though The Bad Batch is a different kind of story and probably deserves to be looked at a little differently, what we have to go off of are the other two series mentioned. While I keep telling myself that this is a show meant for kids with just enough adult eye candy, so were the other two series though. Yet the storytelling of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels far exceeded what we are getting from the Bad Batch Season 2. I'm not going to say this series sucks or that I hate it, because I don't. Each episode has been a fun little adventure in the Star Wars universe. It was nice to see the fan favorite Gungi again and how he survived Order 66. Oh wait, we didn't see how he survived. But Tribe isn't about that anyway, so taking time to explain that would have likely made this episode into a two-story arc. Gungi has grown a bit and his skills in the Force have improved, but I have to ask, and maybe some of you can answer this, why did we need this episode? Sure, it showed that Clone Force 99 is still working for Sid, even though their debt is paid off, and it was nice seeing Gungi again, as I said before. But this storytelling is so much different than the Clone Wars. Also, an animation meant for kids with enough of an adult theme to keep us interested. But with that, I have to just say that it's likely that this show is meant to be binged, because at the moment it feels disjointed from what we assume is the main focal point of the story. And I know I'll get a lot of hate for that, or maybe it's that the focal point of this show has shifted, and we're just hoping it's really about clones, stormtroopers, the Empire, and so on and so forth. Maybe the show is actually just about some clones doing little side jobs and evading capture. Not that capture has been much of a threat since the first two episodes. But that arc was more about clones beginning to come to their senses and not following every order given when it interferes with their own moral codes and legality of the order. Out of all 6 episodes, only one episode and the end of another touched on the theme we had all hoped to see more of. Yet 6 episodes in and we still haven't got back to it. Yes, I know this is a kid's show, I've said that. But if it were strictly a kid's show, then why give us the arc with Commander Cody and Crosshair at all? Now, I'm sure they will get back to that eventually, I have no doubt. What I will say for the show is this: The Bad Batch Season 2 is good at giving us a new adventure every week, and I'm glad we're getting more Star Wars. But this show is going to be a disappointment for me if it continues down this path. I have to ask Dave Filoni, are you just putting this show out there to pump out more Star Wars content? But as I said, this show is likely meant to be binged, and they probably should have released the entire season at once if that is the case. Okay, I've went on and on about how I'm disappointed. Let's look at some of the reasons. For one, it's disjointed to what the theme of the show is supposed to be, or what we assume it's supposed to be. A transition in the galaxy of one from the Republic with clones as their main force to one of the Empire and replacing clones with stormtroopers. I have yet to see much of the reason why this transition has to take place, or what happens to the clones during the transition. Yes, there are clones sprinkled in this episode, but they are just cannon fodder, and they play no real role in the larger picture of the side story or really any of the series. They are still following the Empire's orders without question, something we had hoped to see change due to not agreeing with the atrocities the Empire is committing. Alas, they are going along with the destruction of Kashyyyk and the Wookiees, or are they only concerned when they're asked to kill humans? The episode felt rushed. I think Gungi could have been better suited for helping the Bad Batch sway more and more clones than fighting alongside them in an uprising, which also may not make sense now that I think about it, since the clones had just killed Jedi 6 months prior and Gungi probably witnessed that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hoping for something more out of something that should just be seen as fun. There are some positives to the episode, though. For instance, it's a fun little adventure. If I were watching this with my granddaughter, she would be going crazy over the Wookiees. Yeah, she loves them. It was nice to see the Separatist tanks looking run down and now in use by the Empire and Trandoshans. Before I get hate for that one, Hunter does say, how did they get their hands on Imperial tanks? It's also nice to see what happened to the Wookiees on screen. I often wondered if we will ever return to Kashyyyk, and now we have. The Empire is using Trandoshan hunters to help round them up or kill them. I know a lot of people out there love this show, and I'm really happy for you if you do. I would never put your opinions on what you like or dislike down. I just feel like this show is not moving the narrative along. Other than Omega being overly optimistic, we have yet to see why she is so special, stuff they hinted to in Season 1. Why Cad Bane and Fennec Shan were hired to capture her in the first season. Why they altered her at all. Maybe she's just the character that children are supposed to cheer for. Again, reining it back in that it's a show meant for kids. But I just feel like so much more could have been done in this series. So much more lore could have been added. Instead, we're getting a bunch of fan service. Okay, I think I have given the show enough grief. I honestly can't wait to see where this season is going. If it turns out to just be a fun adventure full of side stories, so be it. I'll still watch it, but I may not watch it a second time. I'm just happy we're only a month away from the release of The Mandalorian Season 3. Let's get back to that stuff. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Was it just meh? Also, hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up to help boost the channel. I do try to remain positive about everything Star Wars, and I probably sounded harsher than I meant to. I'm sure later something about the episode will dawn on me, and I'll do another more positive video about it. Maybe I should put myself in check. I know every Star Wars show won't be Andor or The Mandalorian. Some I will like more than others, as well as you guys. But that doesn't mean I dislike The Bad Batch Season 2. It just means I'm confused on where the story is actually going. But that's all I have for today. Until the next video, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, this is the way, and positivity in the Star Wars fandom is the only way.